This is the Thicket tiny house. It is a single-story tiny house, so all of your living situation is on one floor. It's a ground floor bedroom, but there is actually a loft in this space for storage. This tiny house is 34 feet long by 10 foot 6 wide, so extra wide tiny house, but still fits within the legal road limits, and 13 foot 6 high. Those are all exterior dimensions. And the power and septic are both very straightforward, so this is a very easy plug-and-play tiny home. My name is Jessica. I'm the co-owner of Rewild Homes. This tiny home in particular was a bit of an exploration going back to our roots in designing something that my husband and I would want to live in. My husband and I, we started to build our own tiny house back in 2013, and we were really inspired by some of the, DIY builders that we were seeing, particularly from the States, and people suggested that we should do tiny homes as an actual business. So we decided to do that, and from there everything just really kept going. It's been an adventure ever since, and we've built probably around 70 homes at this point. So this tiny home in particular was a really fun one because we designed this as a show home, and it's going to function as a long-term rental for somebody here on Vancouver Island. The exterior of this tiny house is a combination of cedar and metal. Both are very durable. We've got the big French doors, so just wide open, you can extend your deck space. There is an awning that is just not in place right now that's going to be installed. There's a spot there for the exterior light, but you have to take that off for transport, so that gets shipped inside of the home, because if you get pulled over by CVSE, they will measure to the furthest exterior points, even door handles, so you have to be really, really conscious about your width. So you'll also see on the outside of the house, there's a couple of screws in place there and the connections for the water heater. So that's where the on-demand propane water heater goes. This deck system is actually really cool. It's made of yellow cedar, so it won't rot, and it's also going to age really beautifully into that nice gray. You'll see that it's not permanently in place right now. There are cement footings that go underneath all of the different rails, and then there's nuts in place that you can actually level it, so it's a really straightforward system. So this is the entry to the bedroom. It's really nice having that secondary exit because then you can have your own private little spot to sit. You can let the dogs out. It also functions from a safety perspective. And all of the exterior trims in this house are locally sourced fir. The roofing on this is standing seam metal roofing, and it's a shed slope roof line. One of the advantages beyond just cost of going with a shed slope roof line is that you only have one set of gutters to install. Also, if you're going to be installing any kind of rainwater collection system, it's just slightly less steps if you go with the shed slope instead of the gabled. We source our trailers over on the mainland, so we get everything built fairly locally. We do also have a trailer manufacturer right here in our industrial complex who does some of our larger trailers. This one in particular is 34 feet long. It's a standard width trailer, but we build a raised and cantilevered floor package to actually extend that width. You'll see this is a tri-axle, so 3 axles, 21,000 pound total. When you are considering your tiny house, it's always better to go above and beyond when it comes to the trailer because that is your foundation. The power connection for this home is a standard RV style twist lock plug. So it just twists right up underneath of the home, super straightforward. We can also do a 100 amp or 200 amp hardwired system. You want your panel to be as close as possible to where your outside connection is going to be because that cable is really expensive. So just a tip for when you're planning out your services. And then we also do have the setup for a grounding plate, which typically isn't required, but we still include it and recommend just for that extra safety. This home has a set of double doors instead of a single door. There's positives and negatives to doing the French doors. It's really great because it lets in a lot of light and it lets you open up and extend so that you can really have some outdoor living space. Downside of having the French doors is that you do lose some wall space. And then you'll also see in this home, we have a couple of transom windows up top, which again, just really functions well for letting in the light instead of doing a skylight. And the transom windows also work really well if you don't have the best view out one side or the other. So sometimes we'll be building for people who are going to be parking it up against like a shed, or especially when you're in a more dense area. So then you can do the transom windows and you're just seeing sky. And transom windows are a much more affordable option than skylights. My favorite thing about this home is all of the woods that we got to integrate, and all of the exterior trims and interior trims and ceiling is all locally sourced wood. So the combination of having the cedar ceiling and then the hemlock trims in here, I just think makes it feel really cozy. This is the kitchen. The sink in this house is manufactured granite. It's really durable and it's really easy to clean, and it doesn't scratch very easily compared to the stainless. The water intake, it's just a standard garden hose intake, but don't use an actual garden hose though, get a potable water hose. The window over the sink for this one is an awning window. We do get all of our windows manufactured here locally, so there's a lot of different opening styles. The nice thing about the awning window instead of the slider is then you don't have the bar in front of your eyes. And it's funny because if you're taller or shorter, sometimes that can be right in your eyesight. But going with the awning window instead, that means you just have like wide open view, and then you can open it when it's raining and the rain just kind of goes off. All of the opening windows do have screens. We just don't include them until it's actually shipping out. The shelving in this house is cedar, so it's mirroring the cedar ceiling. You kind of get to pull all of that wood in. We don't do varnishes or lacquers. We go for like a natural oil, which we make here in house. So that's also what you'll see on our countertops, which is acacia sustainably sourced butcher block. So all of those finishes are non-oily and non-toxic and food safe. The nice thing too is that it's really easily refinishable. The cabinets in this are a custom color, and it's like a deep forest green. It looks black when you first see it a lot of the time, but once you're actually in here in person, you can see that it's like that nice dark green. So we really just wanted it to feel like a cozy little forest space in here. We have a standard hood fan. The hood fan is vented to the outside, which is really helpful, especially when you're running propane. So this is a propane oven and propane cooktop. Moisture control is something that people ask us about all the time. We have strategically placed opening windows. We've got the hood fan that vents directly outside. We've got 2 ceiling fans, and we've got the bathroom fan that also is vented to outside. So, you know, as long as you're paying attention and making use of those fans, you're not going to see moisture build up. We have a full-size fridge in here. Going into a smaller space, but still having full-size appliances and ample counter space goes a long way to make you feel like you're not cramped into a tiny house. The power system for this is a 50 amp twist lock style plug. So when you're going with that 50 amp, you do have to go with propane for your water heat and your range. The space heat in this home though is electric. We also offer the higher amperage, so the 100 amp or the 200 amp, and we can actually even go smaller with the power consumption, so we do off-grid homes as well. But when you're going to those smaller amperages, you have to be running everything on propane, and you have to be super conscious about what you're doing. We did make sure to have room in this home for a small eating bar. Being that this home is designed for full-time rental, there is some flexibility as far as not going with a built-in couch, not going with a built-in eating bar, because once you do that, you're set and you can't make any adjustments. One of my favorite things about this house is the windows behind the couch. I really love doing the 3 vertical windows. Just for some reason, it feels a little bit more special than just having one big open window. I'm the one who designs the homes, and our crew and my husband are the ones who build the homes. So for them, when they see a feature like this, they're like, oh, that's extra work. But it's one of the things that gets most commented on when people come in this space. There are a couple different heat sources in this tiny house. Both are electric. We've got an electric fireplace. This is actually rated for the square footage of the whole house. But usually when we have a bedroom on the ground floor, especially when it's on the opposite end, we like to add another heater so that if you are keeping those doors closed, you still have a heat source. All of our doors are handmade by our wonderful Brent. So we do the same material as our wall boards, which is pine. It's really nice and sturdy, so you can, hang your pictures and your TV. We don't do drywall because most people are moving these homes and drywall is apt to crack. So that's not really something that we recommend. The bathroom in this home is pretty big. You want to be able to move around because having space in the bathroom just feels good. We went with a storage loft over the bathroom and the cedar ceiling, just like with the rest of the house, to kind of carry that through. And then the toilet in here is a flush toilet. This home is on a septic system, so you only just have to connect your septic, and then that is where all of your water runoff runs through. But you can see that there's an outlet behind the toilet, and you're able to swap out to a composting toilet should you choose in the future. Most of our homes go with a combo washer dryer instead of a stacking washer dryer because you have to have ample power in order to run the separate stacking washer and dryer, which is why most of the time you'll see the combo. This is ventless as well, so they're super easy to install, they're easy to maintain, and they run on a super small amount of power. But it's a different type of system than your classic washer dryer, so it's really just recommended that you do smaller loads more often. We have a nice big shower in here. We really like to go with the glass shower enclosures because it just makes the bathroom feel a lot bigger. We did tile for the walls, and then we also have tile on the floor. And we use a manufactured grout that's like semi-flexible, so for any movement. For this home in particular, we carried on the wall of the shower, actually like right behind the sink, which I think just makes it feel big and kind of spa-like. And the mirror itself actually has lighting right in it and a defog setting, so it just, that's just a tiny little luxury. There is a lot of storage, so we made sure to put a little bit extra storage for towels and linens. And same with when we go into the bedroom, you'll see we've got ample closet space. The advantages of having a main floor bedroom primarily is that you're not having to go up and down ladders or stairs to get to bed. The ground floor bedroom is also really great for mobility because then if anything does happen, like an injury or just age, then you're not going to be locked out of your bedroom space. We have another beautiful hand-built barn door in here. Big benefit of doing the pass-through bathroom is that you can have guests over and still both access the bathroom without having to go through each other's space. So that's really nice. And then you'll see we have a ladder mounted on the wall, which is how you access the storage loft. So you can see the hanger. When you're wanting to go up there, you just lean it out and then you can put all of your goodies up top there. We did do a second fan in the bedroom as well, which is just really helpful with air circulation. Some people will add AC units or mini split, but they take a lot of installation and maintenance, and they are noisy on the outside. So if you're looking to add AC, there's some great portable units that you can get and you can just plug in during those summer months. And we've been finding that just by having an extra ceiling fan in the bedroom, that really just helps with that air movement. So we added a ton of extra closet space in this one and a bed frame that has space for you to be able to like put your cups and your glasses. This one also plugs in so you can, plug in your cell phone and it's got like a USB charger. So yeah, ton of closet space. We have adjustable shelves. There'll be a closet rod going in there, of course, as well. Lots of space. Another great thing about this bedroom is it's got a separate entry door. So again, when you're having guests over, being able to go out your own back door without having to go and wake them up if they're sleeping on the couch is really helpful. It also, of course, functions as a safety egress. Also, if you have pets and they sleep with you, it's really nice to be able to just wake up and let them right out that door instead of having to go through the rest of your house. And this one in particular, we also built a deck and an awning for the back door, so that you can have your own private little hangout spot as well. And I mentioned earlier about different heat sources. This is another one of the heat sources that we have. So the bedroom has its own panel heater, stays cool to the touch. It's got really minimal clearances and they're also really affordable, and you can set it on a thermostat. So having a thermostat with your heater is something that is really important so that you can maintain at least a base temperature even if you're, going to be gone for a little while. This home is insulated with 2-pound closed cell spray foam, so that's in the ceiling, in the walls, and under the floor. It's just the best route that you can go as far as maximizing your R value in a set amount of space. It's also great because it's less desirable for rodents and things like that. And another big consideration is that with rock wool or like batted insulation, if you're going to be moving your home, that can slough down in the walls over time, so then you can end up with cold spots at the top. So by going with the spray foam, you're really just increasing the rigidity of your entire home for transportation as well. So it's kind of dual purpose there. Every home we build is fully custom, so the prices can vary quite a bit. Typically something of this size will start around 160 Canadian and go up from there. And this home in particular is 180,000 Canadian. The biggest advantage of going extra wide is that you can have a much more comfortable bedroom space, and that extra width makes a huge difference in it feeling more like a house when you come inside instead of that big long kind of rectangular box. As far as the actual towing of it, it's really not any more difficult. We always recommend that you hire a tow company to move your tiny home, and they handle the over-width permit. The cost is super negligible. I mean, it's about $35 to do the over-width permit. The only downside is that when we do the over-width builds, we do quite a large cantilevered floor, so we end up losing some headroom. So it's not really suitable for a sleeping loft, but there is room for storage, which most people really like. Something that I really enjoy about what we do is helping people who are building their own tiny homes. When we were building our first home, we had a really hard time finding any resources, and there was nobody to ask these kind of questions to. So we do a lot of consultations for people and just answer questions and give advice and do the open house events and let people come in who are building their own tiny homes so that they can just kind of pick our brains and get some ideas. We don't just build tiny homes, we also want to be here as a resource for people.
Subscribe to Exploring Alternatives and check out our playlists for more videos like this. You can also follow Rewild Homes on Instagram, Facebook, and on their website. Thanks for watching.